It's Thursday, the 5th of August 2021. Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business Headlines, the business news you need in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. In today's headlines, the local share market ends above 7,500 points for the first time ever, as investors ignore the surge in COVID cases around the country. Plus, 5 states report community-transmitted cases of coronavirus in one day. Former Aussie Post boss Christine Holgate gets a $1 million payout, and Australia's richest person earns a mega dividend. Our lead story today, Australian shares finished at their highest level ever yesterday, with the S&P/ASX 200 closing at 7,503 points, having gotten as high as 7,509 points earlier in the day. The 0.4% jump pushed the key index beyond the 7,500 point mark for the first time, and it's now up 25% since November last year. Some of the biggest companies on the bourse are close or at record levels. BHP closed 2% higher yesterday to a new record, notwithstanding the price of iron ore has come off the past week. Investors like its copper business and potentially its push into potash. Wesfarmers' share price is trading near record highs. The conglomerate has retail businesses, including Officeworks and Bunnings, an industrial chemicals business, as well as exposure to the lithium sector via a joint venture in Chile. Lithium is definitely the hottest metal at the moment, and Wes is up 15% over the past 2 months. Pilbara Minerals, Orocobre, Lynas Rare Earths, Mineral Resources, all companies that dig up metals used in batteries, are near record levels. And this week has been particularly good for the buy now, pay later groups after Square's $39 billion bid for Afterpay. Comments from the Reserve Bank on Tuesday that it expected the economy to rebound after the current wave of lockdowns reassured investors. Certainly, what's happening in Sydney and beyond hasn't hurt confidence yet. Of course, the big question is whether it can continue. A set of very positive circumstances has pushed the market to new highs, but it looks a bit expensive. Mind you, the options for investors aren't great with the interest rates so low. In overseas news, officials from the Federal Reserve in the US overnight detailed out a path towards withdrawal of monetary policy support on the back of the improving economy. The central bank said progress had been made towards achieving the Fed's goals, hinting that rates could rise by 2023. That triggered a sell-off on Wall Street, not helped by General Motors' poor result. Robinhood, the trading app, gained popularity last week when retail traders stuck at home started using it, sending so-called meme stocks soaring. Robinhood listed last week, fell, and then jumped 24% yesterday, back above its listing price. Overnight, its share price surged by up to 82%, causing the Nasdaq exchange to briefly halt trading a number of times. Was there a sensible reason for it? No, not really. Crazy. Indonesia yesterday reached the milestone of 100,000 deaths from coronavirus, the second country in Asia to do so, behind India. Southeast Asia is now the epicenter of the global pandemic as more developed nations around the world vaccinate their citizens. The US still tops the list of fatalities at 614,000, followed by Brazil at 558,000, India at 426,000, and Mexico at 242,000 people. Locally, the likelihood of the current lockdown in Sydney ending at the end of the month recedes every day as the virus continues to spread. New South Wales reported 233 new COVID cases yesterday, its third worst since the outbreak began 7 weeks ago. And State Premier Gladys Berejiklian said the number of cases probably hadn't peaked. In Queensland, there were 16 new local cases yesterday, mostly linked to the Indooroopilly cluster. The cluster stands at 63. There was 1 case each in Western Australia and South Australia, and reports last night of a new transmission in Victoria. Former Australia Post boss Christine Holgate will receive a $1 million termination payment after she left the business amid controversy over awarding 4 Cartier watches as bonus payments. It triggered a parliamentary inquiry which cast a shadow over the board of the group and the Prime Minister. Aussie Post won't have to apologise, but will have to pay Ms Holgate's $100,000 in mediation costs. Roy Hill is the country's largest private iron ore mine, owned 70% by the country's richest person, Gina Rinehart. It will start paying quarterly dividends, and yesterday said it would return $1.35 billion to shareholders, including more than $1 billion to Ms Rinehart, on the back of high iron ore prices. That puts her on track to receive $4 billion in dividends this year. Not bad. In a significant High Court decision yesterday, The power of business to define employment by contract has been bolstered, overturning an early decision that meant casuals were entitled to paid leave. That decision was tipped to cost business up to $39 billion in back pay. It means casuals will be defined on their job description rather than the practical reality of their work. And finally, on to the Olympics. Peter Bol. The Australian of Sudanese descent came fourth last night in the 800 metres final. Great result for Australia. His performance will have a huge impact on people's views about the Sudanese community in this country. It's a wonderful outcome and demonstrates the very best of sport. That's the Fear and Greed business headlines for today. Make sure you hit follow so you get it every morning. And if you'd like more detail and more stories, search for our longer daily podcast called Fear and Greed. We also release a daily interview. Today we're looking at financial stress during the pandemic. I'll be back later with the afternoon market report. I'm Sean Aylmer. Have a great day.